Hello! Welcome to Jaded Roundtable. It's Kim Ochelli on UCY.tv. I think today's May 30th. Didn't check the calendar, but I'm going to say it's May 30th, 2015.
You're correct.
Oh, hopefully everybody had a better week than we did. This week's was not good. And I'll just give you a brief explanation, and I don't want to hear any shit about what I'm about to say, because that's just how it's going to be. Monday morning, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I went and took care of the neighbor early, and I'm up, and nobody else is up. So I let the puppy out. I let Alice go outside, and I put her on her chain. Well, she's a freaking Houdini because she escaped from her collar. So I see her down the street, and these neighbors happen to know me. And I'm walking down there to go get her, and they have this pit bull. This thing's a freaking beast, as far as I'm concerned. It's not a dog. It's a fucking beast. So my puppy thinks that she can play with other dogs because we have the big Willow dog, and Willow plays with her. So anyway, I'm walking down the street to go get Alice from down the road. And these people have this pit bull, like I said, and he's barking all nasty. And she's trying to play, and I'm screaming at her to come home. And these people didn't even hold their dog back, and he got her and tore a hole in the side of her belly. And needless to say, I was screaming. She put her tail between her legs and ran home, and with a huge hole in her side. So I'm sorry. I don't know why anybody would want a frickin' pit bull. That thing is not a dog. That thing's a friggin' beast. It's not a dog. And then that son of a bitch had the balls to walk that dog past my house and let it go in my yard. And had I not been walking with Francis, I tell you what, I would have been all over that guy's shit. Get your friggin' beast away from my house, and I guarantee you they're going to get what's coming to them. They will get what is coming to them. In due time, I will sit like a snake in waiting, and they're going to get it. I don't know how, and I don't know when, but it's coming. It is coming. So, but she's getting better, thankfully, and I have to give a shout out to my angel, Nikki Turner. She spent hours with me on the internet, back and forth messaging about how to take care of it, because I don't have my vehicle anymore. We all know that. So I couldn't get her to a vet, so we nursed her home.
Not like we have money for the vet anyway.
Well, not that either, but we nursed her at home, and she's getting better, thankfully. But these people, ignorant son of a bitches, you know what? There is nobody that can convince me with any information. I don't even want to hear it. That thing is not a dog. They don't treat it properly. And what worries me is the way they have his collar and his chain, you know? He comes all the way out to the driveway, but the problem with that is he's made himself like this little burrow hole right up against the house, like in the cement.
Yeah,
and he has
dugout,
like a little hole there. Now, there's little kids that are like across the road, and they play with their ball. And if that thing goes flying into that yard, you can't see the dog laying there. That kid's going to get torn to pieces. Guarantee you.
And people talk about this with the pit bulls, and they want to say that, pit bulls are not any more dangerous
They're sweet and
than any
gentle.
other
Fuck
dog.
that.
And
My ass.
the problem is these suckers have been bred to fight.
Nope.
Look, if you can understand that a certain amount of inbreeding has made, certain elites.
Yes, Joe, it attacked my puppy.
Kind of difficult to understand, and kind of difficult to to take seriously regarding their mental capabilities. Understand the pit bulls are very, very deeply inbred, and they just have problems. They have problems. They're not normal dogs, man.
Well,
They're
see,
just
now,
not.
this dog wouldn't have gone after, well, it would have gone after, but they didn't even try to hold it back by its collar, nothing. All they kept doing is telling Alice to go home. Well, obviously she's stupid, because she's standing there barking at him with her tail wagging trying to play, and they didn't even make any attempt to hold her back.
No, and so what happened is he completely ripped a full square inch. It's not quite regularly sized, but she had the whole outer skin of the dog taken off, ripped off completely. That patch of fur is gone. There's just like a hole in her side.
I don't care who had pit bull. I don't give a shit. There will be no pit bull in my house with my kid. And I know part of it has to do with the owners of the animals, and they don't treat it right and whatnot. But these pit bulls have a fucking grip on them. Nope. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't care.
You know,
Nope.
Rottweilers, Doberman Pinschers, I've seen them have a gentle nature. They're not fighting dogs. You can make them vicious. You can make German
Well,
Shepherds
you can
rather
make any
vicious.
dog vicious, but they don't have that lockjaw thing like these pit bulls do, where they just attack. I don't give a shit what anybody. I don't care. You cannot convince me otherwise. Up, down, left, right, and backwards. Nope.
Yeah,
Not
well,
happening.
I've never been convinced by that either, and I've heard
I
those
came running
arguments over
home
the years.
screaming in tears that the dog just got attacked. You're damn right I hate him. It attacked my puppy. Fucking beast.
Well, anyway.
They'll get what's coming to them. Trust me when I say that. I'll work my witch magic and they're going to be real sorry. Real sorry they fucked with my dog. Anyway, on to the next exciting adventure, which is I think Dr. Ford is going to call in, as I want to talk a little bit about, which I can't find my notes that I wrote. Good thing I did that.
Well, I can't, we're waiting on Greg Ford to call in anyway.
But
so.
I wanted to talk a little bit with him about that DC Madam lady. Those women, I don't know, they're kind of fascinating that they run like this escort service and all that. That's kind of cool. Maybe I should do that. But then I'll probably get charged with extortion and racketeering and prostitution and go to jail.
You don't get charged with extortion unless
Well, that's what she got charged with, I think.
Well, that's when you're trying to force somebody to give up money based on a criminal premise.
I gotta find
what the exact
I gotta find what I wrote down now. Well, anyway, I hope everybody had a nice Memorial Day weekend, whatever it is that you chose to do. I hope it was fun.
You could do your nice Frankie story if you want.
Oh, Frankie got a wiffle ball bat and a ball today. Daddy bought it for him. He's walking around the house with his bat.
Well, and he doesn't carry stuff home usually, like from the store. I try and give him something from the store to carry home. He usually throws it on the ground on the way home.
Yeah.
But the bat he actually carried all the way home.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Of course, I used to like baseball when I was a kid. Probably he'll have no idea what baseball is by the time he grows up, but...
That boy's a tank. I posted a picture of him on Facebook. JJ commented on him. That kid's a solid little tank. But it's cool. We were playing, I sat on the floor with him and hit the ball, lightly with the bat.
You look at his daddy. I mean, my weight isn't represented by what I appear to be. I'm just very solid.
The kid's a tank.
I'm 6 foot and I'm 230 pounds. And
he runs.
I'm a small male.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he's built anything like me, then he's gonna be, hopefully he's taller than me though.
I hope he's taller than me. I'm only 5'4". How tall am I? 5'3".
How tall am I?
Hopefully he's taller than I am. God, because my oldest daughter is shorter than me. That poor little shit, like 4'9".
I wish I could show you the face she makes when she goes, "How tall am I?"
You could use her head as a table.
Oh, you just opened yourself up to some rough
could.
commentary right there.
Well, that's like your ex-wife when she came to see me in the hospital, brought the kids to see the baby, and she gave me a hug, and you said she Mickey Moused me. I almost lost it. I never heard that
literally
before.
a foot taller than you, yeah.
I'm suffocating.
Her breasts ended up on your head.
They were up on my head. I was like, get off me.
You got Mickey Moused.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I never heard that expression before, but I found that to be pretty funny. It's a visual that I don't need to have, quite honestly. Anywho, so that's what's going on. Hopefully, like I said, if anybody wants to call in, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
What's the number? 718-717-8296. So what was... I didn't get to listen to the show because I was busy playing my Facebook games.
Well, it was Lee Bracker, and we were talking about the trumpet noises, that you had pointed out to me again. I told you I saw those before.
What? Those noises?
Yeah, and they're on a particular frequency, and then I showed you similar frequencies in some other music.
Are you allowed to say it, or is it going to be YouTube?
Oh, no, we can say what it is.
The Black Sabbath riff?
Yeah, Black Sabbath from the Mob Rules, E5150, and also Stonehenge, which was on the next album, I think, which was Born Again. That was Stonehenge was on there. Same frequencies are in there, but these frequencies actually occur in a lot of Hollywood movies and stuff. And it's really a strange thing because, as I was trying to explain on the show there, that when you go into a deep meditative state, you experience this particular frequency. Not necessarily hear it, but you experience it. And it's hard to verbalize, really. But but it's a dark frequency, and it's found in a lot of like pop music. It's
Was in
embedded
that
in the tracks.
War of the Worlds movie, I remember.
Well, War of the Worlds, Godzilla, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I didn't like that movie.
Bunch of different movies like that. It's just all over the place. And then even in Katy Perry songs, you can find it. As Lee was explaining, and he reminded me of, but you can find this thing like embedded in a lot of rap tracks and a lot of like pop music tracks, and it's a dark. It's just a dark frequency. It just is. It causes certain reactions in the human mind. It causes certain reactions on a spiritual level, and it's a very negative thing.
Well,
and
I
it's
came
really
in.
Weird.
You were like 15 minutes done, almost done with your show. So, somebody said that maybe it's like excavating down underneath the ground to make safe spots for the important people.
Well, see, that was one of the theories that was bounced around, is that maybe it had to do with explosions resonating from the underground facilities that are all over the world. But it doesn't seem likely to me that that's what it is, because I don't think it would travel as far as it has.
Well, wouldn't it depend on how far underground?
Well, yeah, but besides that, I mean, it's just it's one of those things that seems to be in the air, you know.
Yeah, that. Although you did point out in that video that I showed you that you think some of it wasn't real because the same bird chirp.
Well, yeah, I debunked a few of those.
Guatemala, that it didn't.
Yeah, like you can't have the same bird happening in Russia, Guatemala, and Arizona at the same time. It's
a little weird,
little goofy that happens right before the same noise.
Yeah.
So you've got some hoaxes out there, and you have some that they seem to have actually grafted stuff from the movie soundtrack onto, like just sort of innocuous cell phone video as well. But once I put all that stuff aside, there was still a bunch of them that seemed legit at my glance anyway. I mean, I invite anybody to go over it and figure out a way that it's all a hoax. I would love for it all to be a hoax, but then I would question why it has been so prolifically spread all over the place. There are people posting on YouTube claiming they're doing it on someone else's behalf. There are people posting on other video sites, including Vine and all that, trying to say that they're doing it as a surrogate for somebody else. And it's really weird that this thing made the rounds last year and is again making the rounds, and goes as far back in my mind to the episode in Russia, which was over the sky in 2013. I think it was in January or February, where you had these fireballs that were sighted and filmed over Russia, over Belarus specifically, but it's hard to tell exactly where, what you would call that area of sky that they were filming. But the thing is, it's pretty interesting that the same tone can be vaguely heard in that video. Thank you, I did need a drink.
Well, I don't know, they're kind of spooky sounds. You do wonder. Well, then I got accosted by the Jehovah's Witnesses on my way out the door to go take care of the neighbor.
Oh, I was wondering why you had a watchtower when you came back.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't agree, but, I let them speak their piece, because who the hell am I to judge? I just don't happen to agree with... That's not my religious point of view, but it's cool. They stop by, they want to say hello, so I let them. And they hand me this book, and it says, "Is the end near?" And I was like, damn right it is. It's like, well, no, in a positive way. In a positive way. It's the end is near for sickness and for war. And I'm like, yeah, because the earth is going to self-implode. That's why. So I stood out there for like 20 minutes in the blazing hot sun. That really sucked. But what are you going to do?
Interesting fact, somebody's talking about being hurt by a horse in the chat room.
Jane is, I got thrown off a horse and stepped on. That shit sucked.
Yeah, well,
I was like 10.
Little known fact, my grandfather was actually killed by a horse.
Yeah, I know. That's fucked up, isn't it?
Yep.
That's fucked up. But what else was I going to talk about? I don't even know. It's one of those days. You know?
It's definitely been one of those weeks.
Oh, shit. But hopefully, Nikki's listening so she can hear her shout out. I don't know what I would have done without her. I was hysterical.
Well, you came to me first, and I was trying to deal with it, but
we dealt with it.
It wasn't easy because I I never had a dog with a divot in them like this. I mean,
Look at the
literally,
divot. That's a freaking hole.
but it's like, it really literally reminded me of if you take a divot out of a golf course with a freaking driver and you like yank out a piece of the turf. It was like a piece of her body had just been yanked out. And it goes about,
It's nasty.
it's like 3/4 of an inch deep.
It's nasty. That's all. It's like if you ever seen a rabbit and you skin it. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
Nasty.
in that patch.
But
yeah.
all I know is thank God that she wasn't closer to him because he would have tore her up. I would have lost it right then and there. I probably would have beat the shit out of that guy. I swear to God, both them black dudes would have been beaten up by a crazy white bitch down the street. I swear to God. The bitch coming.
Well,
The day before we moved.
I don't think that would have been much done you
My
much
wrath
good.
my wrath will be exposed. I lay in wait.
Nice. So I have no idea where Greg Ford is. He was going to join us. But of course, if you are on the Charles.Ochelli Skype list.
Well, he called, but I couldn't answer the phone because you said that if I answer the telephone outside when you're in here on Skype, it disconnects everything.
Sometimes it does, yeah.
So I didn't answer it, so maybe he can't call in. I don't know. I didn't answer the phone.
Oh. Well, you want to...
Whatever. It's all good.
You want me to go call him and you can just...
What am I supposed to talk about by myself?
Oh, I don't know.
I had nothing to talk
it's
about.
It's your show.
I know that. Not for long, though, because I don't know how much longer I can do this, quite honestly. I'm friggin' tired on Sundays. I can't do this shit. I'm too old. Now, if I was 20, I could stay up 3 or 4 days at a time without a problem. I don't have that stamina anymore. It's gone.
Yeah,
Lost it. It's gone.
We all get older.
No. I would like to become a vampire. Right now. I think that would be cool.
You could back up my life about 10 years, I might take you up.
Because I'm old enough to know better, but still young enough to have fun doing the things I know better not to do.
You sure?
Yep.
You sure?
And I won't get caught because I'll be doing it at nighttime.
You sure you know better?
No. No.
All right, then.
Don't tell all my secrets.
You know, listen, a vampire with a life sentence would really suck.
What? A life sentence? You do get a life sentence if you're a vampire, don't you? You live forever.
No, what I'm saying is if you got yourself imprisoned in some way and you were a vampire...
Oh, that would suck.
And you were imprisoned for life...
I'd be there forever.
Right. You know, how many generations would they wait before they released you?
I don't know. Quite a few, probably. Who we got in the chat there, anyway?
Romper room here?
Yeah, why not? Cy Girl's there, Dolnick's there.
Oh, Cy Girl.
Joe Friday, a couple Anons, Jane. I don't see Mr. Hopper. He's not there. Is that the baby crying? Did you hear that? They probably
thought I did.
Oh, no.
Not sure. We got an Anon, we got Ban Jovi, we got Dolnick, Hecty Lenore, we got Jane MC,
Linroad.
Joe Friday, Jules probably not there, Louis Cypher, Road Dog, The Cy Girl, and Vince Easley.
Vincent. There we go.
That's who we got.
All right. Hey, all. Hope you're doing well. And if you're not, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Mr. Hopper's not around. Wonder what he's doing. You know who else hasn't been around either is Schmutzy. What happened to him?
I don't know.
Because we were going to talk about, bennies and stuff at the Jersey Shore, but he disappeared.
It is just about that right time of year.
Yeah, well, what's funny is that big, giant bridge that you need to use to get into Seaside Heights, it broke. 5 o'clock on Friday. That really screwed up a bunch of people's plans for the weekend.
You know what's even worse, though, is the fact that somebody, snuck over... A bunch of people, leave work early on a Friday to go to Seaside.
I always did.
Go chill at the sawmill or whatever, and then they try and run back for a certain reason or whatever. I bet you there was a throng of people pissed they couldn't get back over... You see, let's explain this. What happens is that Seaside Heights is kind of on an island, so there's a bridge out of Tom's River to go to Seaside Heights, and
it broke.
Yeah, it just broke, and it was just like, oops. Well, if you're stuck on one side, you can't get in, and if you're stuck on the other side, you can't get out. So
either one is a problem.
Yeah,
either one. because you can only stay in Seaside Heights for a little while. I don't know if any. I'm going to have to admit that I used to watch American Idol.
Oh my God.
Well, there's one crazy kooky girl from Pennsylvania a few years back. She was nuts, right?
I need to reconsider our relationship.
No, you don't.
American Idol. Really?
Shh. Let me tell my story.
Ugh.
She got hit by a car and was killed in Seaside. Oh, that was pretty.
Some chick who was from American Idol?
Yeah, she was really wacky. I can't remember her name. She was from Pennsylvania. She was all wacky, and she was down there, and she got drinking at one of the bars on the boardwalk, and she ran out in the middle of the street. Bang! That was it. Dead.
Yeah, well, you know.
Puts a pretty big damper on your weekend plans.
I don't know.
That sucks. Too bad for her. Well, at least she wouldn't be singing no more. She was really bad.
One less American Idol artard. Good deal. So,
I liked that show for a little while.
oh, God.
I like all the stupid shows you don't like.
Really?
I like to watch The Idiot Box. You know what? I don't care. I know what's right and wrong sometimes, so that's all that matters. I'm a good mommy.
Well,
that's all that counts.
We do have the full-fledged Idiot Box at this point. Funny thing, we're going to be a Nielsen rating family real soon.
Yeah.
That's
You get like $5 for doing it. It's like, yeah, all right. Why not? Ow! Somebody just Skyped in my ear.
Yeah, oh, relax.
That hurts. Who is it?
I don't know.
Let's find out. So, yeah, I like that show. I always watch my cooking shows, though. I like them because I get some pretty good ideas. Not that well, you know what? I probably could pull it off. Some of them. I like to barbecue. What I did learn from being down south, though, because, you know, we're up north, so we're Yankees. We're not, you know, whatever they're called down here. What are they called down here?
What? I don't know.
If you're not a Yankee, what are you?
Well,
a Southerner?
In this state, you're a Tar Heel or whatever.
That is stupid. What the fuck's a Tar Heel?
I don't know.
I don't think I want to know.
I don't
but anyway,
care to examine it.
Up north, if you barbecue everything. You just barbecue. But apparently down here, barbecue is simply pork.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say you want to go for a barbecue, it's just pork.
Yeah, if you want some barbecue, that's just
it's barbecue
pork with some kind of sauce shredded, I guess. Right?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either, to be honest.
I'm not happy here, I have to tell you. Oh, I know, Rode. You watch porn. So do I, actually. You can learn a lot of different techniques watching porn.
You watch porn, too.
Why not?
That's good, then. Interesting night of discovery for me here. Is that what you do while I take my migraine naps?
You never know what I might be doing out there. You leave me to my own devices, it could be good.
See, leaving you to your own devices could mean a lot of things. And when you're saying that you're watching porn and being left to your own devices, that draws a visual image.
It depends on the person that's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You never know. Hey, I gotta entertain myself somehow. Between my 2 dogs and the baby.
Texas barbecue is usually beef.
Ooh.
Side girl says.
I think we need to go to Texas.
Well, I know that when you get ribs in Texas, most times it's beef ribs. I know that.
I like beef ribs.
Like if you just ask for ribs,
usually they're beef.
They're beef, yeah, in Texas. I know that for sure.
I have to find the best place for barbecue.
I consumed more alcohol
in
Texas than any other state in the union. With the exception of maybe New York. Maybe. But, I mean, Texas is practically a blur in my mind.
Oh, boy.
Like, that's how much drinking I was doing there.
Yikes. Did you ever get so drunk you threw up? I've done that many a time.
Yeah, I've seen it. But,
oh, yeah.
But,
that's not fun.
Yeah, no, I used to occasionally.
That really sucks.
But most times my tolerance is... The only time that I throw up, though, is when I, like, really pump it down quick. If I space it out well...
You can catch a cool buzz if you space it nicely. I could start with a case of beer at noon and be perfectly fine at 10 at night.
Well, that's the thing. If I start with a case, you know... I mean, when I was a musician, I mean, that was like my daily... My daily regiment was like 2 cases of beer. You know, and I wasn't drunk because I was so used to it. But see, what happened in Texas is it was like, you know, tequila in large shot glasses and stuff like that.
tequila, huh?
Yeah.
I got so sick on Rumple Mints. That shit tastes like mouthwash. I don't know why the hell I was even
It's
doing
disgusting.
it. It is pretty gross, but I was at a bar, so it's fuck.
It's like,
I got free drinks a lot, so.
idiots who drink Goldschlager. Well, of
That's
course
my
you did.
ex-husband.
Of course you. Well, okay. Point.
There's no
Anyway.
point. I'm just saying. The little gold flakes.
Yeah, the gold flakes in it and
He'd
all
stick
that.
it in the freezer. And we went from a little bottle and graduated up to that big ass like $30 bottle. I was like, ew, that shit's like shellac.
And by the way, a woman who gets free drinks in a bar, gee, wholly surprised, color me.
Color you?
Yeah, color me wholly surprised.
What color is that?
Whatever color
Purple?
you want, just surprised. Women who get free drinks in bars, like that's some kind of news.
I always made friends with the bartenders.
Water is also wet.
It is.
Yes, it is. Water is wet. The sky is mostly blue.
But
Women are
I just sat
insane.
there minding my own business.
Women are insane,
You're
and
gonna
they
get in
get free
trouble
drinks
now.
in a bar.
You're gonna get in trouble now.
I don't care.
All right. It's hot in here. Can you open that window over there, please?
Oh, do we have to?
Yes, it's hot in here. The fan's in the baby's room.
I know, but I just don't want to get...
They're not even here. I think they moved. I think they're gone.
No, they're not.
I think they might be.
No.
They heard me on Monday night, Monday morning, and they left. Crazy bitch. Oh, maybe not. Close the window.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Anyway. Yeah, anyway, I got so sick on those Rumplemint drinks. I got sick at home, and I blew my eyeball out. It was all red. That's how sick I got. My eyeball.
Blew your eyeball.
It was red. Like the white part of your eye. From getting
you broke a blood vessel in your
I broke a whole bunch of blood vessels. You couldn't tell I had blue eyes. They were all red.
Both of them were like that?
No, just the one. My left eye. I was violently ill. That was
years ago. The mayor of New York City, David Dinkins, did that. He sneezed and totally blew one of his eyes red.
When I used to live in Newark, they have the Portuguese festival.
Okay.
And I can't remember the mayor of Newark. Who was that?
Sharp James.
Yeah, that slimy bastard. I went down into one of the restaurants to use the bathroom, which they had open to the public for that festival. Because you didn't really go into the restaurant. You just went down the stairs, and there was this giant room, and then there were bathrooms off of that room. I go walking down the stairs after doing, 15 or 20 Jell-O shots at the festival, and he's standing there in his goddamn underwear, getting changed, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is not what I wanted to see after having all these...
The mayor of Newark is standing there in his underwear.
Whoever might be the god. I swear. Not even kidding you. He's standing, this black man standing in his white skivvies. I was like, damn.
You remember...
Can't you go in the bathroom?
Remember Governor McGreevey?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Governor McGreevey. I ran a bunch of gas stations at the time, and these Pakistani dudes are freaking out, coming running to me like on a Monday when I came back to work, because I never worked on Sundays over there. Because there was no banking. So I go over there on a Monday, and they're all freaking out, telling me that the governor had been there the day before, and I'm like,
his boyfriend?
I'm like, well, see, that's the funny part. So I said, come on, guys, you guys don't know the governor of New Jersey. They're all like barely speaking. Half of them I had to teach English to,
Sweet.
So I'm like, they know the governor of New Jersey. Yeah, right.
Okay.
So I go to review the security tape, because they're all insisting that this happened on a Sunday when I happen to not be there. And lo and behold, yeah, he was absolutely there.
Well, when he...
So the young guy who worked there and was like, my mother, who was still alive at the time, said that he ought to be a model, and other people said that too, because he was just a really good-looking Pakistani kid.
Yeah.
Was apparently, that's who McGreevey was spending all his time talking to, and this is before all of the gay allegations came out and everything. And there were old timers from up in North Jersey telling me, that guy is as gay as the day is long, and it's going to come out one of these days. And I'm telling you, and I thought it was just like kooky conspiracy stuff, because, you always hear about all kinds of stuff. I mean, in New Jersey, the one thing that's guaranteed is if you're a public figure, they will create rumors about you. Everybody I ever knew that had any sort of, even minute sense of fame or infamy or whatever, there's always these like interesting rumors that sprout up about them. All kinds, all
Well,
kinds.
that's true. But supposedly, didn't he fall at the beach? He was with his boyfriend, and they had to fly his wife in secretly, so it looked like he was with her. Well, she knew, from what I understand.
I
She
don't know
knew
what
he
the
was,
whole thing was.
and she
I just
covered for him all
remember
the time.
that was a big deal in New Jersey that this guy resigned because he was like the gay governor. And I just thought it was funny that this guy had stopped in at that gas station I was working at and was really like putting his arm around this Pakistani dude that
He was trying to take him home.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know that for sure. And
wow.
the Pakistani dude didn't have the,
Didn't know any better?
Well, he wouldn't have known like the nuances of English to like get a subtle hint if somebody was trying to pick him up.
Well, if the guy's grabbing his package, wouldn't he have gotten a hint?
Well, yeah, but I don't think the guy was going to just. McGreevy wasn't that brutal about it, and he had a boyfriend. So, I'm just saying he just cozied on up to the prettiest Pakistani in the joint.
Nice.
And I thought that was hysterical. And then, like, maybe a year or two later is when the whole thing exploded, because McGreevy was the replacement governor for Chris Christie. Not Chris Christie. Christie Todd Whitman, excuse me.
That retarded.
Yeah, I was thinking of Governor Krispy Kreme because that's the guy that's there now. But no, Christie Todd Whitman, who wound up leaving to go on
to be the EPA,
to be
right?
the head of the EPA and all that.
Who fucked all the rescuers and...
Oh yeah, who screwed everybody regarding a whole bunch of things.
Breathe.
Oh yeah,
the fuck
air,
do you know?
The air is safe. Sure it is.
Fucking retard.
Yeah, she was wonderful, but. Anyway,
and what's his name?
McGreevy was the lieutenant governor and then ascended to the governor's mansion because of that.
Who was the guy that got in the accident and he didn't have a seatbelt on? He paid his ticket like a big boy.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He was a customer of mine when I ran that heating and air conditioning company. He was a real dick.
Oh, he was like Mr. IMF, I rob everybody.
I can't remember his name.
Corzine.
Corzine. That was his son of a bitch. Yeah. They're all son of a bitches. All of them. Every single last one of them. There isn't one that I like.
Yeah, well.
Not a one. Not a one.
The last guy that I liked in Jersey was Florio, believe it or not.
He taxed toilet paper and everybody had a fit.
Everybody had a fit because he put like a 2-cent tax on a roll of toilet paper.
I'm sorry, but I personally, if we're going to do taxes, this is going to be an unpopular statement, but they should tax clothes everywhere because, drug dealers got to buy clothes and then that'll force them to pay taxes.
I don't know.
Instead of raising the taxes all the time on the people that are paying and going to work and doing it honestly, tax clothes. They got to buy their clothes. Unless it's stealing them, of course.
There could be a whole different tax structure in place that would be a whole lot more fair and so on. So.
Yes, John Corzine of Goldman Sachs. Didn't he lose a whole bunch of money, too?
Yeah, through his his hedge fund or whatever the hell. I forget what the whole scandal was, but it was sort of like, big surprise.
They're all slimy bastards.
Everybody that... There has never been a New Jersey politician that I didn't look into who didn't have his hands dirty. I mean, every last one of them. There's never been one of these guys that really comes up in the State House or anything.
Well, anywhere, really.
Well, probably anywhere, but I mean, I just know from having been in Jersey and, having been politically astute at an early age, these guys were always, and the nice ones, the best ones, were the guys that were hooked to, real criminals, like actual Italian mobsters and stuff, when they were behind them. Those were the guys who actually got stuff done. The ones who were bought and paid for by the larger corporations, they're the real scumbags.
Right.
Because they screw everybody over.
I don't even. Why did Florio have to resign? Not Florio. McGreevy have to resign because he was gay. Who cares? Really?
It was a big deal. You don't remember? It was a big deal.
I know, but who cares? Really? Is that what everybody's worried about? Where is?
See, we're not in the modern age where where whatever you decide that day.
I didn't give a shit who was blowing Bill Clinton either. I don't care.
No, I didn't give a damn.
Who cares? Really?
I didn't give a damn that McGreevy was gay either. I'm just saying that the culture at the time wouldn't tolerate it. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. It's all stupid.
It wouldn't, because it was a big deception, and he was misrepresenting himself, and all the family values people came out against him.
That's bullshit, because I don't think what somebody does in their bedroom is anybody's damn business. I don't care if you're a politician. I don't care if you're a rock star. I don't care what you are. It's nobody's damn business. What is who you screw have anything to do with the type of job, whether good or bad, you do? Really? I don't think it's anybody's concern. I think if people worry less about that shit and worry about what's most important, things would be a lot better. What was it? What were we watching? We're like, this is what people are worrying about right now. What the hell was it? Do you remember?
Oh.
There's a whole bunch of shit.
Well, there was a couple of different things. I mean,
I was like, this is what's important.
Oh, I don't remember what.
Oh, did anybody see? Here's what I wanted to talk about. I guess Uncle Greg can't call us. I guess something happened, but that's okay. I'll do that another time. The I don't know what state that was in, but it was all over the mainstream media. The woman who is 8 months pregnant.
Oh, that was in. I think it was in California.
It was in California.
I think it was Barstow.
You're right.
California.
The woman in the parking lot. Now, see, this might be, and I hate to go this way, but this could be an issue of race, because the woman in the parking lot was a white woman with this fancy old car, I believe, right? Yeah.
Oh, good call, Cy Girl. By the way, yeah,
What's that?
that is the point of why McGreevy was shamed. That was the whole operation against him. It was another one of those honeypot situations, except you use a man instead of a woman, and that's exactly right. And people could look at that for the greater. Yeah.
All right.
Just saying. But,
just saying.
Okay, moving on. The one in Barstow in California.
Yeah, that was horrible. That cop came up to her, the black woman who was standing on the sidewalk, waiting for her. She just dropped her kid off to school.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and apparently there was some sort of altercation.
There was an altercation between her and somebody else.
So the white woman got all nervous because this black woman got all uppity in her face. But you know what? You just need to learn how to deal with that shit. So the cops were called, and the cops talking all nice to the white woman in the parking lot. Oh, well, it doesn't look, because the black woman apparently punched the car.
Something like that.
And there was no damage. Allegedly hit the car.
Right.
So there was no damage. Okay. So this white woman was scared. All right, whatever. So the cop goes over to the black woman and asks what happened, and the lady told him. And meanwhile, she's 8 months pregnant, and he asked her name, and she said, I don't have to give you my name. I didn't do anything wrong. And he arrested her and threw her on the ground.
Well, then she got on the cell phone to her boyfriend to, I guess, to get some counsel about whether she needed to give up her name or whatever.
Oh, there's Uncle Greg.
Let's see. And,
Hi, Dr. Ford.
Yes, Kim.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
That's all right.
I've been fighting off a great big internet attack on my site.
Are you kidding?
I couldn't believe it. Yes, I turned on my computer, to Skype you folks for the show, and it was jammed up with Japanese.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think that was a secret message they were saying. Remember I told your listeners about Miji, Meekening, intrusion, jamming, and intercept.
Right.
That's how they do it on electronic intelligence warfare. And sure enough, there it is in kanji. Perfect Japanese.
Wow.
And that's all I couldn't even shut it off. I couldn't even shut the computer off to reboot. So
I had seen that you called the house, but sometimes when I answer the home phone when Chuck's on the Skype call, it hangs up the radio station, so I couldn't answer it. I'll have to give you my cell number so you have that, just in case.
Oh yeah, very, very sorry. Like I said, I had to reroute through 3 different systems to get to your show. So.
Oh wow, that's all right.
Anyway.
I've been boring.
No sweat. We'll just finish up with the story we were talking about, and then then the floor is yours.
Yeah, because I have my notes.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I don't have much time. I know, but boy, it's going to be what little I have is going to be good. So.
Oh, you got like an hour and 15.
Yeah, no, you still got an hour and 15 left, so don't worry about it. We'll just.
Okay. I thought it was just an hour. Oh, okay.
All right. We'll still finish up with what we were doing, and then, like I said, it's all yours.
No, by all means. Okay.
But she had gotten on the phone with, I guess
she got on the phone
boyfriend.
with her boyfriend, right? Then she winds up like the guy says, the cop says, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, winds up giving her about 20 seconds, takes her down on the ground, arrests her, she's screaming the whole time, et cetera, et cetera. This has made the rounds in the mainstream. And of course, immediately, Don Lemon's on the air.
You can always count on him.
Wanting to say, well, this is a white and black issue,
But this kind of was.
No, I get it kind of is, but you know what they're totally ignoring is that First of all,
wrong.
the white, well, no, she didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying that they're correct or that the cop is correct. I'm going to come at this from a different angle. What I'm saying is that the white lady totally moused up. She just went, yes, okay. Like, she didn't even, the black lady was still excited. Okay?
But all she did is refuse to give him her name because she didn't do anything
wrong.
But
what I'm saying is there's a difference between the two there besides their race that comes up. Okay? There's a different thing going on here. And to tie it all to race is BS because the whole thing was she wouldn't turn around and give up her ID. That's the thing. It's not necessary to give up your ID if you're not being placed under arrest, if you haven't committed a crime. I've always questioned this backwards ass thing, and I'm sorry to say that, but that's what it is. This backwards ass thing where they're taking you into custody even though you've done nothing wrong. If you don't just lay down and allow them to take you into custody, you're resisting arrest. So you're resisting arrest, but the arrest is
bullshit.
Provocated on nothing. What kind of nonsense is that?
I go for a walk with a baby all the time. I don't bring my ID with me. I'm only going down the street.
But unless you are, suspected of committing a crime by some sort of probable cause, there is no reason to be searching you or analyzing who you are. Okay?
They threw her on the ground.
No, they threw her on the ground, and they're wrong all the way around. And what cracks me up more is that the police department is defending it. Like, oh, no, this was absolutely, the way it had to be done.
No, it wasn't.
And it's ridiculous.
Well, thank goodness her baby was born okay and nothing happened to her.
No, absolutely.
I would have sued the shit out of that police department and that cop.
But they're still defending themselves. And the idiocy that I see is this argument over race, and then, of course, they get some ex-cop on to sit there and argue about, well, gee, I think they followed the procedure. It's fine.
That idiot.
That is pointless. Okay,
that
and it's
guy's
just
an idiot.
Yeah, but it's all meant to just ratchet up the racial issue as opposed to looking at the real problem here, which is that there are way too many police, way too out of control. Doesn't matter what your race is. You're guilty until proven innocent. You don't have a right. You don't have a right to refuse. Well, there's also a woman cop that gets involved there, and I'm not sure what her race was. That's in the video too. But I don't even care what their races are. The fact is that abuse of any citizenry is out of hand.
No, I agree. I agree.
So, anyway.
All right. Oh, did I just unplug my headphones?
No, you're okay.
All right, I have to find my notes.
That's the end of that topic.
I took notes, Uncle Greg.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the end of that topic. And
I gotta find them in the notebook.
Kim is now going to look for her notes, and of course, we're just going to kind of turn the floor over to you, Sarah. And there you go. It is Kim's show, so she'll be the one asking the questions and things. But maybe she says.
Chuck's smarter than I am, so he comes up with better questions.
With that. Yeah, if I'm so smart, okay.
I know it. But I wanted to talk to you more about the DC Madam because I always find stories like that quite fascinating and really pretty sad.
Okay, if we could continue in the same vein about this, I only got that little bit that you folks just spoke about in the last minute or so, but it sounds like you're referring to the militarization of the police constabulary in America.
Yes.
Right.
All right. And there was a time in America, when people like myself, we can remember when policemen weren't in an adversarial mode, okay, where policemen walked, the beat in cities, okay. Everybody knew the policemen like in my little town, my small ranching town, everybody knew the policemen. There were 4 of them, okay. Right. They knew them by their first name, and they called them by their first name, all right. And they would never think about, doing something to you like saying, okay, all right, you're not involved. I want to see your ID. Okay, that is basically identifying, okay, and cellularizing, okay, the population. That is what we're doing now, and that's what our government is doing. Is militarizing the population. Okay, giving you, and they're working on this. Okay, the government's actually working on this, where you will get a ID at birth. Okay, lasered into you at birth, all right? That way you can be scanned anytime during your lifetime, all right? That's what we're talking about here. So the police, okay, now, since instead of recruiting, okay, and this all started back with Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton, Okay, when he said we want 100,000 policemen on the street. Okay, he wasn't saying we want 100,000 quality, educated, socially adjusted, well-adjusted, mature policemen on the street. No, we want warm, big, and breathing. Okay, on the street, and it doesn't matter. They don't have to communicate with you. That's the whole thing. They don't even want them to communicate with you. They want an adversarial situation to happen, okay, where your personal space is violated. Okay, that's what they want, all right? Remember on your show a couple of times ago, I said that as long as the middle class in America has property, all right, and that property is, finance, whether it's a house or something, like what happens when you get put in jail. You put your house up, for a bond, okay, and you post bail, okay. What happens when you don't have that? All right, what is the next thing you're going to put up for bail? It's going to be, and this is what the government wants now. You're going to have to put up your body. All right, that's why these policemen, these young, immature policemen, all right, will taser you, okay? If you're having an issue and sitting in a wheelchair and stroking out, they'll taser you, okay? In the Bay Area not too long ago, some poor kid, 10-year-old kid, was on a beach. His father was drowning, and he yelled at somebody to call 911. They called 911. The police showed up. They didn't even ask the kid what was wrong. They tasered him. Okay, all right. This is what is happening, and that's in the Bay Area too. I mean, the city of love. Okay, brotherly love. Hey, that's San Francisco, right? Or used to be. All right. That's what they want. They want a situation where they can violate your personal space. Okay, a person's personal space. And if you think it's going to get better, they're going to stop. Oh no, it's going to escalate. The situation escalate. Now, I remember when it used to be against all police regulation to serve a warrant, whatever it was, a parking ticket, warrant or something like that, something minor, to serve somebody's house, okay, past 7:00 in the evening, okay. Because what happens when somebody comes and bangs on your door at late at night? You think it's a home invasion, all right? Right. And so now as a result, you're seeing all kinds of people being shot dead in their house with a policeman at that door when the folks look out and see a couple of great big brutes standing there, okay, and the folks say, no way you're coming in here, no way, no how. And if the policeman even has a remote suspicion, these 20-something year old, they see some reason to go ahead and shoot through the door, they will. And don't think it doesn't happen every single day in America now, and it's escalating. It's the body that they're after, okay? It is after the body, okay? They've already taken houses away, okay? How tough is it for the government to take your house now? Not very tough at all, okay? In fact, we just went through how many years of watching hundreds of thousands of homes and property being confiscated by these kinder, gentler banks, okay? All right? I can remember when you used to go into your bank and they'd give you a toaster, okay, because you were a customer, and they paid you 5%, okay? What do they do now? Okay, you walk into a bank, and you got to be careful because you're just liable to end up being the toast. And how much do they pay you for interest? They don't pay you jack, okay? I had a bank president call me up the other day and say, hey, we've got a special deal for you. I said, what's that? Heaven forbid. And because I was just at 5%, when I was a kid, 5% savings. Everybody got that. No, he told me I was going to get on a savings account of $100,000 or more. I was going to get, and they could get it for me. That was really a great deal. 0.19%. 0.19%. what are you joking? I asked him, what are you joking? Okay, that just shows how our society has become completely taken over by the banks. Okay, banking interest, money interest, and I've got a lot more to say about that on your show tonight, and how it's become militarized. All right, our society is becoming more militarized every single day. Is it unusual to see military vehicles, armored vehicles, showing up in like Ferguson, Missouri? Who had heard of Ferguson, Missouri before this last big, quote, racial uproar? Okay, nobody had heard of Ferguson, Missouri. Most people in Missouri had never heard of Ferguson, Missouri. Okay,
right.
And all of a sudden, here's these militarized-looking police. Okay, in this little funky town called Ferguson. Okay, that's what is happening. That's why you get these situations, where police show up and they automatically assume, okay, that you're going to comply, you're going to have your personal space violated, and they will do it. It's standard policy, standard procedure. All right, they will do it. It is alarming. Yes, it is a reason to be concerned when you see great big trucks, okay, that were in Iraq, okay, V-bed hardened trucks, that's vehicle bomb-proof trucks, okay, patrolling American streets. Oh, and that goes into something called Jade Helm. Okay, what do you see with Jade Helm? You see uniformed, camouflaged, night vision, night goggled commandos walking the streets. Okay, intentionally trying to provoke a situation. Okay, trying to provoke a situation. They didn't choose Texas to launch the thing off for zero reason. The folks in Texas tend to have a more independent spirit. So hey, let's pick. The way the government thinks is let's pick the most proactive, antagonistic to government authority state we can find and launch this thing and see what happens. Okay. So what do? They launch Jade Helm. Okay, Jade Helm is happening now. It's the same situation that happened in Washington D.C. when the government said, okay, hey, we got everybody complying to all this 9/11 phony baloney terrorism stuff. Okay, and that is exactly what it was, folks. Right. As I found out this afternoon, phony baloney. Okay, and guess what? We're going to physically pat you down before you get on the corridor train. When it runs between Boston and Baltimore or some damn thing. So but we in Washington, in National, we're going to set our hands on you and your wife and your kids whenever we feel like, and shake them down. Okay, we're going to violate their space. Okay, and if you don't like it, do something. Okay, that will give us an excuse to use our militarized force to do something. All right, to contravene what our founding fathers gave us as protections against this very same behavior. All right. So, yeah. Excuse me. It sounds like I'm on a soapbox, but I spent the afternoon at an air show, and talking with some former military folks, and everybody is talking now about this, the phony baloney Navy SEALs Bin Laden killing. Okay. It sounds like this is actually getting out. I was concerned it wasn't going to get out. Okay. It's the fact that Bin Laden probably wasn't killed. Okay.
Well, this is a reboot, believe it or not, Greg. I mean, we've been talking about this in alternative media circles for years. That Bin Laden was likely dead. I mean, everybody's got different estimations of when he was probably actually physically dead. Like my estimates go back to about 2002. Okay. But other people have different ideas. Some of them even think that he was dead previous to 9/11. But it's kind of all irrelevant when you have this big stage show that went on here, and no matter when he was dead, even if it was 2 years previous or whatever else, they kept that boogeyman narrative going for a long time. But I mean, if it's as bad as I think it was, I mean, what are we talking about? A decade of crap supposedly chasing this guy, supposedly making him the figurehead for terrorism around the world, and justifying all of these incursions.
Well, you've got the military.
Yeah.
You've got folks in the military talking about it. And let's face it, everybody wants to know why the SEAL team that took him out was dead a week later. All right. Everybody wants to know why there was no body. Okay. As you said, they said according to Muslim tradition, since when has the U.S. government been concerned about Muslim burial traditions concerning the number one terrorist in the world that slaughtered supposedly 3,000 Americans? We were concerned about his burial traditions. I'm sorry, it's hard not to laugh when you go back and what did they just say to me? What did they say to America? That they took DNA samples and after shooting him twice in the face. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to identify? Have you ever watched CSI and all that stuff? Well, hey, you can't identify somebody when they've been shot twice in the face. Okay. Their face swells up and they're dead. Okay. Nobody looks good dead, first of all, and nobody looks the same when they've been shot twice in the face. All right.
That's for sure.
Gee, there we go. That wipes out facial identity, and then they said, "Oh, DNA." Okay. Well, gosh, that would be easy enough. Just ask George H.W. Bush when he was having breakfast, when 9/11 hit, with the brother of Osama bin Laden. Okay, his business partner. I guess it wouldn't be that tough to check on DNA. Okay, but have the results have been produced for anybody to check on those DNA results that were supposedly taken? Okay, when he was shot and killed, and then his body unceremoniously kicked over the side of an aircraft carrier. Okay, I'm sorry. The whole thing now is really adding up. And when Jean Palfrey said, hey, she was really frightened. She was frightened for her life because of what she had heard. All right, sat in on a meeting with Dick Cheney. Okay, who else? As I love to say, I love to preface that. Who else but Dick Cheney? Okay. I thought we were supposed to have something called justice in this country. I took an oath to defend the Constitution when I joined the military and the government. To defend the Constitution against all enemies, outside and inside.
Foreign and domestic.
States.
Foreign and domestic.
You got it. Mm-hmm. You have got it. And surprise, we have now got a government that has declared war since 2001 on the American people. It's the American people that have been targeted in all of this. All right, you subjugate the most powerful country on earth, militarize its population. Guess what? And then you introduce the biggest spying, espionage, coverage media network system in the history of the world ever. Okay, that's what we have now. All the stuff when it looked like the Patriot Act was going to maybe possibly be appealed, and of course, you know how our spineless got this. Politicians treat this stuff. They should appeal it because hey, let's face it. Do we have a threat of terrorism? When it's come down to the point now to where the original bogeyman, the boogeyman who actually kicked this whole thing off, has been dead for years, okay, and it looks like our government sold us a great big bag of real goods, okay. Hey, yes, we bought it hook, line, and sinker. That's what is happening now, in America. Jean Palfrey was terrified because she said, "Hey, look, it was Dick Cheney and Mohammed Gul, okay, of ISI." And they were talking about assassinating and ordering the assassination of Benazir Bhutto. All right? Benazir Bhutto. Yes, and Benazir Bhutto was outspoken. She had said all along, as soon as she gets back in Pakistan, back into power, she's going to re-energize the relationship with the U.S., and she is going to announce that bin Laden has been dead for years. Been dead for years, all right? I believe her now. I believe Jean Palfrey, all right? And I definitely believe all the forensic evidence or lack thereof that has been proven. All right, and the biggest thing that does it for myself, Chuck, and your listeners is the fact of George Bush. Okay, George W. Bush. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
don't mind the dogs barking in the background. That's my Homeland Security. Okay, they're agreeing with me. Okay,
Right.
Okay, George W. Bush, when he was asked, and we talked about this the other night. You know, when a female reporter said, Mr. President, well, what about Bin Laden? He spent 8 years. Okay, he slaughtered 3,000 people. Americans in front of the whole world. And what are we doing about finding him? Well, we haven't even had a report in years about his location. And there he was. Well, I just don't think about him that much. What? What? The President of the United States isn't worrying about the most wanted man who slaughtered more people in the WTC on 9/11 than in Pearl Harbor? That's how more people died on the WTC than in Pearl Harbor. All right? And he's not worried about it. He doesn't even think about it.
Well, not only that, but 6 investigations.
Because he knew he was dead. That's why. He knew he was dead. No wonder he wasn't thinking about it. Okay? Why should he?
And with Pearl Harbor, you had at least 6 investigations that came afterwards where people actually did lose their jobs. Post 9/11, we don't have that, do we? People got promoted. Business as usual continued on, and this is the way it was. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just for the listener, by the way, Kim had to go because Frankie got up. So now it's just me talking to Dr. Ford here. So I don't know if she'll be back to finish out the show or not, but we got almost an hour left still, so I'm still here, guys. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry,
we have got a lot of people in the military that are beginning to say, "Whoa, what just happened to this country?" Over the last 15 years. Okay, what has happened to this country? If this is even close, okay, where's the Department of Justice demanding investigations? Okay. Where's the Department of Justice? Are we going to call in Alberto Gonzalez? Okay. All right. Oh, gosh. Now, there was a fireball, of determination and keeper of the American spirit. Oh, the Constitution is just a quaint, antiquated document that has no relevance to today's society and today's justice. Say what? That's who we had in this country protecting us. Alberto Gonzalez and John Ashcroft, okay, who spent how many hundreds of thousands of dollars removing statues that he thought were offensive because they show, a naked body. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've got a rampaging terrorist running around the world, killing thousands of people. We have these idiots in charge. Okay. I mean, and now, gee, gosh. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Alberto Gonzalez, okay, here, we need to check out just exactly what kind of integrity these people have that become the Attorney General of the United States. Oh. All right. First of all, he became the Attorney General of the United States when John Ashcroft had pancreatitis. I was in a hospital getting an operation for it, and he could barely function. Not that John Ashcroft could function anyway normally. Okay, he was a goofball. All right, but and if you ever saw him sing in an open audience, okay, that would convince you. But the thing is, Alberto Gonzalez actually broke into his hospital room when John Ashcroft was basically comatose, and grabbed it and tried to grab a pen, okay, and put a pen in John Ashcroft's hand, and then hold his Alberto Gonzalez, Gonzo. That's what W calls him, Gonzo. Okay, wrapped his hand around John Ashcroft's, and then tried to scroll his signature, on a piece of paper on a document that would allow Alberto Gonzalez to take over as Attorney General. Okay, say what kind of banana republic are we living in? When I heard that, say what? And a nurse came in and saw what was happening and said, "You clowns, get out of here now, or I'm going to have security throw you out on your ears." Okay, all right. Well, that's how Alberto Gonzalez got the job. And then secondly, he came from one of these phony baloney corporations that that are always under investigation, Department of Justice investigation. Okay, no different with Alberto Gonzalez or Gonzo, aka Gonzo. I like Gonzo better. Okay, he surprise. He because as I always said, you don't get promoted in government, in the U.S. government. You don't get elected unless there's dirt on you. Okay, serious dirt, and that'll bring us to Obama. Okay, very shortly here. All right. Okay. The thing is that yes, there was plenty of dirt on Alberto or Gonzo. Okay, Gonzo. Okay, was ripping off the government. His corporation was ripping off the government. They were under investigation for numerous frauds. Okay, there was a team, a 5-member team selected to go after nothing but Gonzo. Okay, and his wonderfully honest corporation. Okay, well, surprise. Okay, Gonzo becomes AG, and every single one of those members on that investigation committee, we're talking 20-something-year-olds, guess what? They all started having a close encounter with death, all right? They all started dying, okay? They are all now dead, all right? What, do you think they died of social contact diseases? No, they started dying like the usual, suicided, okay, type diseases, okay, and suicide type conditions.
Which does bring us back to Pelfrey, because she needed to be shut down because
quickly.
she had some dirt on a lot of these guys, seems like to me, and not the dirt that they wanted anybody else to get out there. I mean, the leverage is no good if it gets out there, and I think she was threatening to get it out there, is what the problem was.
She was trying to get out of the country herself, okay? I went to dinner with Jean, and she stated, and this was in California. She was actually from California. She wasn't from the East Coast. And she said, "Look," she said, I'm trying to get out, and that's how this whole thing came down with the D.C. Madam prosecution. Okay, I said, "What happened?" And she said, "I went to transfer money out, and she was going to Germany. She was trying to get out to go to Germany." Okay, and surprise. Okay, as soon as she did that, within like minutes, okay, the Fed swooped on her. Okay, we're not talking a lot of money. It was about $90,000 she wanted to transfer to a German account. All right, $90,000, and then she was going to leave the U.S. for her own health. Okay, I mean, she loved Germany, but she didn't sprechen sie much in Deutschen. Okay, and so she wanted to get out while she still had her head attached to her shoulders. Okay, and she'd already seen what happened to Benazir Bhutto. Okay, when Benazir Bhutto was going to come out with the truth. So she didn't want to risk it. She had already sat in on a meeting with Jack Abramoff. Does everybody remember Jack Abramoff? We are on the crest of a magnificent wave of glory. Remember that idiot? Okay. Yeah. Well. I'm part Native American, and my tribal elders from the Cherokee tribe had to deal with that idiot. Okay, that moron. All right. Every time they wanted to work on a gaming license, they had to pay Jack Abramoff $1 million just to talk to him. Okay, to get a license, gambling license in Washington. Okay, and you think he was such a wonderful, kind man, a wise man? Oh no, he referred to my people, my tribal elders, as what do you call them? Cro-Magnons. Okay, Cro-Magnons. Okay, that Jack Abramoff. Okay, and then Jack Abramoff, okay, because Gene Palfrey, okay, was supplying escort services for all of these overachievers. Okay, she was providing escort services. Okay, and she sat in on the meeting with Jack Abramoff and another golden child. Okay, we all know. Okay, and love dearly, Mohammed Atta. All right, Mohammed Atta. Okay, ATTA. Let's make no mistake about it. We know, everybody knows who he was, and the Inspector General also knew who he was when they tried to destroy all the evidence of Able Danger tracking Mohammed Atta and his two groups of merry maniacs when they hijacked planes. Okay.
Well, of course, the reason for that, the reason for that, Dr. Ford, is that if you begin to really trace and track what happened with this Atta character, it appears to me as though there was more than one guy who had to have been using that name. Okay, and that right there is a big problem. All right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because he's in too many places. Yeah, he's in too many places at once. I mean, I talked to people that work for the airlines that explain that that this guy was like a frequent traveler, all over the world. Who knows where that money came from? But the person that they had heard about that had been, the lead hijacker allegedly was going by the same name as somebody that a lot of these people knew, because we were talking about like a 1 Million Mile member guy with the airlines. I mean,
you got it. Right.
That's bizarre enough, and then when does he have time to go into these cells and the training camps, and then in Germany, and then he's in America, he's back. It seems to me as though
Indonesia, right?
Yeah, Indonesia.
Right.
You got more than one.
Right.
So that's the real danger of that. So I mean, look, in all fairness to her, who knows who that actually was that sat down with her? But a guy who identifies with that name, ahead of 9/11. That's
here's the thing. Here's the important thing about all of that, and for your listeners listening, Jack Abramoff was the bag man. Okay, he carried money around, paying people off for the neocons. That's what his job was, really. He wasn't some political analyst. Okay, he wasn't some golden boy on his way up. Oh no, he was a thug. He is a thug. Okay. Although, by the way, when he was in prison, okay, I got this from some insiders, okay. Now, Jack Abramoff is out of prison now, and he's talking like he was pretty tough in prison. Okay, well, the first day, of course, he was a big crybaby. He said that the black Muslims were picking on him and calling him names. They kept referring to him, because he's Jewish, right? They kept referring to him as a honey-baked ham, okay. And I kind of like that one myself, to be quite honest, all right? But, surprise, they pulled him out of the Club Fed that he was in. Okay, that's what they call, federal prisons now, okay, because they always put him in nice places. And the one out here in Pleasanton, in California, has an 18-hole golf course that goes with it, okay, on prison grounds. Gee,
yeah, for the white collar criminals, for the real criminals, for the big guys, they get the nice accommodations and all. Yeah, so
because they could be rehabilitated. Well, he was put into a quote Jewish prison. Okay, a Hebrew prison. I didn't know they had such a thing. I'd worked in the Department of Corrections for 20 years. Okay, I didn't know they had such a thing. They put him into a Jewish prison in Pennsylvania. Okay. And that's where he spent his few years that he did, okay, his hard time, okay, all right, as a, quote, rabbi assistant, all right. Gosh, if you're going to do hard time, okay, you might as well get stuck into a Club Fed, with preferential leanings and end up as the rabbi assistant. God, that was, how did he do it? Boy, that's walking the main line. That's doing some serious hard time. That's all I can say. Okay, I wonder if he got some tattoos when he was in, I mean,
well, you can't do that if you're buried in a Jewish cemetery, though, right? You can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery with tattoos. And, being a rabbi's assistant, I guess he had to keep the meat and the cheese separate. this kind of thing. This is one of the things that had to be done, and hey, look, I guess that's
Yeah, that's it.
that's too. I guess that's hard labor to some.
Well, as Gene was saying, that's what the meeting was all about. Was Jack Abramoff paying Mohammed Atta? Okay, why was he paying Mohammed Atta anything? All right, before 9/11 hit. Okay, and by the way, Mohammed Atta and his whole group of very bunch of crazies. Okay, supposedly, they all surprised were training in Sierra Vista. Okay, Sierra Vista, same place I trained. All right, Sierra Vista. What were they all training there for? And they were learning how on an abandoned Air Force airstrip there. Okay, they were all learning how to take off. Okay, they weren't worried about landing. Okay, I guess that wasn't a big concern of theirs, but they wanted to know how to take off. Big jet planes. Okay, so they were on this abandoned Air Force base where I was, and it turns out that the Mohammed Atta that we all know and love, okay, had more intelligence courses and more leadership courses given by our government than I have. And me.
Well, meanwhile though, here's the real rub on this, is that there's no really good solid proof that these men were even on those airliners.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't that wonderful, shadowy, spooky, etc. I mean, there's a bunch of these guys that turned up alive afterwards. I mean, you're aware of that too, right?
Right. Oh yeah, that's it. 8 of them showed up the next week, alive and well. Hey, I didn't hijack any plane.
Right.
And by the way, what was this thing about them all being supposed to be being Saudis? Okay. No, gee, that was heart-rending. The concern. That the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia showed. About these supposed Saudi nationals. Gee, isn't that interesting? Here the partner of the former president of the United States, who's having breakfast with him, is a Saudi. Okay.
Oh, Shafiq bin Laden, that guy.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Right. And of course, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. But Saudi nationals, and when I was in Iraq, there was something that kept coming out, and I passed this on to the FBI, that there was a real problem with the nationalities of those hijackers. Okay, and this came from the Mukhabarat. This is the same Mukhabarat that provides the working core of who else? ISIS. ISIS. Has anybody heard of ISIS lately? Okay, you should have, because guess what? A U.S. general was just caught, retired U.S. general was caught commanding ISIS. Okay, is that wonderful or what? So, anyway, small world with all this, but Mukhabarat was passing it on to me, okay, via Mr. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, that there was a serious issue concerning the nationalities of those hijackers, okay, and they were supposed to have been Baluchi, okay, Baluchi, all right, and as in from Baluchistan, okay, all right, as in the contract hitters for many years, the contract hitters for the Saudis, okay, not Saudi nationals, were Baluchis. They're their own folks, but they do all kinds of dirty work for the Saudis, mercenary work, hired assassin work, one-way ticket kind of projects, okay. Mm-hmm. That's who probably was in charge of the 9/11 issue, okay. They're trainable, and they always follow through with their assignments, and is known now, as in Barbara Honecker just confirmed the identities and the nationalities that yes, they were Baluchi. Okay, has anybody out there said yes? They can call in and tell me. Okay, yeah, I'm full of it. Oh yeah, no, they were really Saudis. No, they were Baluchis. Okay, but has anybody heard that from our government? Oh no, they haven't, not at all. And that's one of the reasons why Jean Palfrey was concerned. She was hearing all this. Okay, who is this guy, Mohammed Atta, giving being given lots and lots of money from Jack Abramoff, bagman extraordinaire. Okay. And by the way, what's the deal with all these guys, all these thugs and neocon thugs having joint Israeli U.S. citizenship? Mm-hmm. They all have passports with Israel, Star of David stamp right in the middle of it. Okay. Their passports. All right. What's the deal with that? Okay. I'd like to know, which makes me begin to wonder, as I've heard the rumors before, that bin Laden, when he was alive and didn't have polynephritis, which eventually killed him, okay, right. That's I'm hearing polynephritis, okay, was actually a Yemeni Jew, okay, a Yemeni Jew. The whole family were Jews, okay, and they had their original founding members in Spain, okay. They were part of the Don May, all right. They weren't some old family that had been in the Arabian Peninsula for hundreds and thousands or thousands of years. No, they were part of the Don May diaspora of 1492. All right, from Spain. A group went to Arabia. It wasn't Saudi Arabia. It was Arabia, and another group went to Turkey. All right, as in today the Anatolia of Turkey. Okay, that Turkey. And the Turkey that just had a great big purge of its Jewish Don May officers, as in the last 18 months, a big purge, a big scandal going on concerning them, and then you have Saudi Arabia, who has never been angry, has never been an enemy to Israel. Okay, now, and I'll affirm that. Okay, as in the last 10 days, in 2 weeks. Okay, we get the report that Abu Bakr, that al-Baghdadi, who I know very well, by the way, okay, a.k.a. al-Agassi al-Baghdadi, okay, very few people know that name, al-Agassi al-Baghdadi, okay, was supposedly pronounced clinically dead in an Israeli hospital, and it came out that he was a trained Mossad agent. Well, I've already told your listeners, hey, I was responsible. I'm the goofball that actually produced a triple agent, okay, with al-Baghdadi. I had no idea. I had my suspicions, but I couldn't get anything confirmed, especially with the half-wits and morons that I went to Iraq with, all right? I couldn't get any confirmation on who this guy really was, but I assumed that he was a Mukhabarat operative and commander from the Mukhabarat, okay? Well, in the last couple of weeks, yet he was pronounced clinically dead, which means he could get a shot of B12 and be hanging out at Sharm el-Sheikh right now. Okay, but the thing is that he was pronounced clinically dead in Israel. Okay, and did that make a ripple? Chuck, did that make a ripple anywhere when that came out? I didn't notice it. And then in the last few days, a large number of wounded, okay, ISIS fighters have been announced that they have been recovering in Israeli hospitals. I mean, gosh, what kind of relationship do we have? And as of 3 days ago, Israel announced that it was supporting ISIS. Saudi Arabia announced that it was supporting ISIS. And France announced that it was supporting ISIS. And guess who? Okay. All those tax dollars that you're paying so diligently, all your listeners out there, they're supporting ISIS. Mm-hmm. Okay. ISIS doing all these very, very bad things. Okay. Like crucifying people, and chopping people's heads off. Speaking of that, everybody says, well, how can I even, talk in any other terms that don't condemn ISIS? Well, gosh, the Saudis, they chop your legs off for jaywalking. Okay, you have a bad thought, that the thought police don't concur with, and they chop your head off in Saudi Arabia. Okay, the number of decapitations in Saudi Arabia is going up. Okay, instead of going down with all this ISIS, it's going up. They're cutting off more heads in Saudi Arabia than they are in in Iraq right now. Then ISIS isn't in Iraq. Okay. Gee, tell the French that. The French don't have a problem with cutting heads off. You ever hear the guillotine? Ever hear the French Revolution? Okay.
Right.
I mean, they had no problem with it. Okay. Oh, by the way, I also, people are concerned about battle ISIS. Okay. I was there. I saw the treatment that the Shia were giving. The Shia were giving the Sunnis. Okay. That is who is fighting in ISIS. Okay. Our Sunnis, directed by Israelis, paid for by Saudis. Okay. And obviously commanded by Americans. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and supplied by us, propped up by us, put out on the media by us. I mean, and then when I say us, I mean the U.S. Not
Yes,
us as you and me.
You got it.
But this is what the deal is that this is it was a construct from the get-go, just like the Al Qaeda fighters
Right.
that were supposedly doing this and that and the third thing. All of them actually at their heads directed by either former American intelligence people or current American intelligence people continuously. One day we didn't just wake up and stop supporting the Mujahideen and all that in Afghanistan. That didn't happen. Okay? It didn't happen that just suddenly these guys decided to turn on us. This is all... And by the way, Kim is back. So...
Hello.
Oh, great.
She hasn't said anything, but she's back. But this is the thing, is that ISIS, why is it that, this would be any other different playbook? Now we have a different head, and it's a matter of fact we can change the head around
And use a different
and say that it's a different name, say that it's a different guy, call it under a whole bunch of different monikers,
New
and
boogeyman.
identify it as a new great boogeyman. And this time it's, it's Sunni run. The Shiites were the scary ones before. Now it's Sunni run. Doesn't matter. Everybody's scary. Be afraid. The boogeyman terrorists are coming. They're recruiting your children through social media. Don't forget that. The radicalized Westerners. We got to keep that whole thing going.
Well, there was chatter going on that those beheadings were fake.
Some of them may be. I reserve judgment on that whole thing. Some of it.
That's what they call. That's what they call cutting edge media, Kim. Okay.
Well, there you go. That's an edge you can cut with. That is cutting edge media. Yes,
absolutely.
Much like the Moyle might give you when you go to get your circumcision.
Wouldn't know about that. Sorry.
Anyway.
Well,
sorry, I had to go there.
No. ISIS they manipulate for a bunch of hotheads running around. Okay, just chanting a bunch of crazy Muslim Islamic slogans. Oh no! They're way too smart. They're way too effective. All right. And you look at the weapons. Are they running around with crappy old AK-47s all dusty and nasty? Oh no! Oh, I was looking at a picture today. Oh, we're talking, a 240, 240 assault weapon. Okay, I didn't even get a 240 assault. I didn't even get a brand new M4. I had a crappy old M16 when I was in Iraq. That jammed up.
You know what cracks me up
every time I fired it?
Yeah, every time you fired it. And here's something that people don't understand, is that the weapons that they're using in the desert that are always new and just, they're constantly having to be replaced. So these guys are being supplied arms-wise. You can see it with your own eyes. They're not they're not taking care of old weapons here. They're not, resurrecting and refitting old stuff. They're getting new stuff all the time. All the time.
I was looking at some of their vehicles that they were riding around in. They were up armored, brand new, IED hardened, vehicles. I mean, we're talking, a couple hundred thousand a copy, and they were all charging around in these things. This is ISIS, okay? Where did they get these vehicles, okay? I mean, let's face it, we're being sold another bag of goods here, okay? A whole bill of goods on this whole ISIS issue, all right? Now, another thing I'd like to, slide in, okay? Ed Snowden, okay? Just, for those who haven't forgotten, Ed Snowden, okay? I thought, Ed Snowden had some, he has a bunch of national defense issues, okay, that he is trying to let the American people know, let everybody know, especially our allies, because we've been spying on our allies, according to Ed, and he has the goods to prove it, okay, is I thought this was all, national defense, high, big brother stuff, that he's exposing. Oh, I found out today why Mr. Obama, excuse me, okay, Hussein Obama, okay, all right, now, I found out why he is so down on whistleblowers, okay. I take the subject matter dear to my heart, okay, cool. As everybody knows who's heard my show, okay, heard me speak on your show, okay, yeah, they've heard me and they understand I take it very personal. Why Obama has been beating up on whistleblowers, okay, sending them to prison, okay. I mean, the criminals get promoted, okay, like my commanders, okay. When I was in Iraq, they all got promoted. Oh, it was a great deal. And then they got, six-figure jobs when they got out. They had them waiting for them when they got out, and they got promoted, okay. Now, I found out why Mr. Obama is so upset, okay, with Mr. Snowden, okay. Real simple. Has anybody ever heard of Switzerland? Has anybody heard of Swiss bank accounts? Mm-hmm. They're famous for being super secretive, okay, and protecting their depositors, these Swiss bankers, okay. Well, it appears now that Mr. Snowden has got the goods on the selectivity, okay, of our government and allowing big money producers, okay, big donation type, lobbyists and so forth, to have select unprosecutable Swiss bank accounts, okay. Well, it was Mr. Ed Snowden who came out with such delicious little tidbits like, if the top 50 mutual fund CEOs just paid their taxes, okay, we would not have a deficit. We would not be running in a negative deficit right now. Just paid their taxes, the top 50 mutual fund, CEOs, okay? They don't pay taxes, by the way, all right, okay? And it's Ed Snowden who is showing all of this, okay? He's got the goods on him, all the goods, okay? That's why our government wants Ed Snowden back, all right? Forget all this nonsense about Ed wants to come back to America because he misses it, okay? What? Has he ever struck anybody as anybody's fool? Okay? I don't think so. He's got the goods on these clowns, all right? And these clowns have been busy feeding America, okay, the taxpayers of America, the citizens of America, the very best people in the world, all right, period. Our government has been selling us down the road, and that's what it's always about, that's what it's been about, and that's what it will be about, is prosecuting whistleblowers that tell the American people what is going on. And that is what has actually happened, is that, quite a few friends of Mr. Obama have Swiss bank accounts. I thought they would have them in in the Grand Turks or the Isle of Wight off the the English coast, or or Liechtenstein, any of these places. No, they have them in Swiss bank accounts. And so America and Obama has been making quite a show of prosecuting people with Swiss bank accounts, making it look like we're really being tough with these folks, right?
Right.
And we're not, okay, guess what? We are not. Hey, those bank accounts are just fine, especially with his friends, okay? He has several friends in the banking industry. Who is it, Goldman Sachs?
Right, that's a big one.
I mean, you take the last name Obama and then mix it in with Goldman Sachs, and you have a relationship that looks something like Deliverance. Okay, anybody ever seen the movie Deliverance? Okay,
yep.
It means third generation incestuous behavior. Okay, all right. That's what you have when you take Obama and Goldman Sachs and put them together. All right.
Where did
That's the
Snowden finally
relationship.
find asylum? Where was he granted asylum? Does anybody know?
Well, last time I heard, he was in the workers' paradise.
Hmm.
I know they were talking about Iceland, and they were talking about New Zealand and whatever. But last time I heard, he was still a guest. And a very good friend of mine, we all know, Wayne Madsen, actually helped. He got wind of a operation with MI6 to go in and kidnap, okay, snatch, okay. When I say that word, I felt the air kind of go quiet, okay. I'm sitting out by my pool. I'm sitting outside by my pool, and I felt the air just go silent, okay, when I said the word snatch, okay. Then the word snatch has many connotations, but in the trades, the blue-collar trades, that means kidnap, okay. Well, Wayne, being the hero that he is, got wind that Mr. Snowden, who is a true Nobel Prize hero, okay, for Americans all over, okay. Now I don't count our government officials as real Americans. They're really not. They're called pimps, okay. They don't have any nationality. They're pimps, all right. But true Americans, okay, Ed Snowden is their Nobel Prize hero, all right. He is, and that's why he did it. He didn't have any other motivations. He didn't take up time, okay, for anything that he did, all right. But guess what, okay? He says, I believe him. That's what the deal is that it is the banking interest that he has the goods on, that he is able to expose who's not paying their taxes, who's hiding money from the America especially, all right? America.
Well, what is he waiting for? What is he waiting for to expose? Why hasn't he done it yet? Is this something that he's going to expose if he gets killed?
Well, hey, first of all, who's going to kill him? He can't be reached, in the workers' paradise there, okay? The FSB, they were notified by Wayne, the FSB was, okay, that yes, this plot to snatch Mr. Ed Snowden from, like I say, the wonderful bucolic setting of Moscow, okay, and bring him, okay, back to the U.S. shores, okay, to stand a fair and just trial, of course, okay, that was in play, and Wayne said, no, ain't gonna happen, okay. He knows about all this nonsense. Wayne has actually been to Indonesia and investigated Mr. Obama, all right, and you want to see somebody with an intriguing background, okay, look to see how the Manchurian candidate arrived, okay, in the Oval Office, all right. Speak to Wayne about that. All your listeners can check with Wayne, find out what he found out in Indonesia from Indonesian intelligence about our president right now, okay, about his death squad running mother, okay, his death squad running mother, okay. I'm sorry, she worked for USAID, okay, all right. Do I need to say anything anymore? Okay. Father worked for MI6 in Africa, okay, putting down the Mau Mau insurrection. Okay, those are just some tantalizing bits that were uncovered by Wayne concerning Mr. Obama in Indonesia. Okay, I mean it goes on and on. Okay, and I thought, hey, he was just a kid with a funny name, a skinny kid with a funny name, who hadn't been around in the system long enough to have any goods, have the goods on him, okay, to have any dirt on him. No. Oh, no. Hey, he was stuck there for a reason. He was in place for a reason, okay. With a pedigree like that, a Manchurian candidate pedigree like that, okay, hey, no wonder he's never been down on the agency for any of the monstrous things that they've done. Right. Okay, for the hideous things that they've done.
Yeah,
okay?
like in my estimation, he was placed there to continue on with the agenda that was in place before he got there. Okay, and on top of that, you would have a significant segment of the population that would not be able to react to him. See, when he first took office, It was difficult to criticize him at all because you would be deemed a racist if you were a white person criticizing him. I know people think that this is sort of a minute point that I make, but I'm telling you this is a reality. That you were, you were racist. You didn't like the fact that there was a black president. This is how they would shout down any of your criticisms or questions that you asked about him. As time has gone on, not only is that useful to keeping, everything quiet, but on top of it, you have the rest of the population that might actually identify with him, that might actually think, he's doing something that is beneficial for the rest, who are not part of the white racists who just have a problem with him because he's not white and isn't that historically significant in and of itself. Well, those two things right there were enough to keep a lot of criticism quiet while he just quietly, very succinctly continued the very same agenda that had been in place the previous 8 years, the previous 16 years, the previous 25 years, so on, which has brought us to the point we're at. Is he the beginning and the end of the problem? No, but, gee, any help here from this guy? Any real difference? Where's your hope and change, or your change and hope?
Are we still in Afghanistan? Are we still in Iraq? No, we're getting ready. Not only are we getting ready to go into Iraq again, hey, we're going to expand our Middle East operations.
You got it.
Well, now that you're talking about Iraq again, there was something you brought up last week on my show when we were talking with Lee. You had said that Feinstein's husband, I think you said he was a senator?
No, he's not a senator. She's a senator.
She's a senator. Okay. Well, he made, $650 million with the Iraq war?
No, Kim. No, try $600 million every year, okay, the Iraq war was running.
Okay, well, my question then is, isn't Feinstein the one that headed up the investigation to the torture that was being done?
The Select Committee on Intelligence.
Based on my reports, Kim, I was the first person to go to her and say, this is what is going on in a little insignificant prison called Abu Ghraib, all right? This is what is happening. This is going to be based on my years of being an intelligence analyst. This is what it's going to amount to. It's going to be the largest war crime scandal history, war crime scandal in U.S. history. Okay, that's right. What she launched that investigation on, and surprise. Okay, I can say one thing about those idiots that I went to Iraq with. They never failed to disappoint. Okay, I mean they always produce the goods. Okay, because they always think that they can obfuscate, inveigle, and prevaricate. Okay, I think that sounds like the X-Files, isn't it? Okay.
Well, my question to you is, isn't that a conflict of interest if she's married to this man who's making all that money, but yet she's turning around?
Well, not according to Diane. No.
She's not enjoying that money?
Well, here's the deal. You're gonna love this too. This little fact also. He also runs the largest private intelligence collection agency, private corporation in the world. Okay.
Well, then she should be investigated.
Right. And she sits on she chaired the House Committee on Intelligence and Collection. Okay. That's why I went to her. I went to 4 people. Okay. Mm-hmm. Barbara Boxer, John McCain. Okay. John McCain, Nancy Pelosi, and Dianne Feinstein. Okay. If I was shy and bashful about contacting my representatives, I got over it after dealing with these folks. Okay, but yes, okay, yeah, I think it is a conflict of interest. Okay, now Dianne doesn't think so. Okay,
well, doesn't anybody else think so? I mean, how can she possibly be upset about what's going on over there if she's sitting there enjoying the goods of the $650 million every year?
No, $600 million every year.
$600 million every year.
Yeah, right.
So I'm sure she's getting taken care of quite well, but yet you're going to turn around. That doesn't sit right with me at all.
See, Kim was
Well,
looking for an outcry about
Nancy
that.
Pelosi, don't think these folks aren't making money hand over fist. Even though they're liberal, even though they're left leaning, and they're well aware of the vast right conspiracy, right wing, was it vast right wing conspiracy that got us into two never ending wars, 9/11, let's face it, all right, like I said, even my poor grandmother, who was cloistered in her little kitchen baking cookies all the time, kind of like in the Matrix, the Oracle is always baking cookies. That's my grandmother, all right, she's even on to the fact that 9/11 was one great big scam,
Right.
and but she says, hey, always, look where the money is. Where's the money? All this stuff happens. Who stands to make money? And let's face it, there were a million millionaires made in Iraq. You think I was one of them? I'm kind of annoyed that I wasn't.
Right.
Let's face it, I had years of training, years of education. I was actually getting ready to retire. I had my retirement papers in. I just wanted to finish up after 3 decades of being in the covert business. I wanted to finish up and just call it a day.
Right.
No. First of all, they told me I wasn't going to call it a day. They made it real clear in no uncertain terms. But what amazed me was, as soon as I filed war crimes, a request for investigation into war crimes, it's amazing how they kind of forgot about that part.
Right.
And then they really forgot about it when they strapped me to a stretcher and tortured me over it, to find out who I'd contacted.
Yeah, your day was made real long then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So anyway, that getting back to your question about Shy Guy and who is making money. All those people were making money. You think Nancy Pelosi, and her husband weren't making oogles of money? I was always bad at math, but I think oogle is a very large amount of money to make. Not Googles, oogle.
Oogles, yeah.
Oogles. That whole group of people made a lot of money. So but there I am. I've never made a penny. I've never taken a penny from any media I've dealt with or spoken to. When I exposed all this stuff, I've never even offered. Der Spiegel did a lengthy three-night biography on me. And that's how Europe found out about Abu Ghraib. Was me. And Der Spiegel, Helmar Buchel, senior editor. Of Der Spiegel. I did not get one brass farthing. Not one. All right. Not one kopeck. Not one shekel. Not one dinar. But funny, those folks make $600 million a year. Doing that stuff. I don't quite understand it. Maybe your callers, your listeners, can call in and tell me how I missed the boat on this one. But needless to say, that's why I'm finding out. Getting back to my people that were at the air show this afternoon. Everybody in the military is now talking about the fact that Bin Laden was a bogeyman cooked up by our government, and you're probably right, Chuck. He probably did die of polynephritis. That's an incurred autoimmune condition. And it can take you at any moment. You can have it for 20 years, or it can check you out very quickly. And he had it, and that was that. And so, and then Benazir Bhutto, a name almost forgotten now, but not the ISI of Pakistan. They didn't forget Benazir Bhutto, and they love their 25 billion with a B, $1 billion a year that they get from the U.S. for maintaining that whole concept. Now, it looks like everybody was beginning to close in on the fact that Bin Laden was dead, and that's why they staged this whole issue with the assassination of Bin Laden in his house, and poor Akbar Akbar Khan, H-A-N, Akbar Khan, okay? Okay, that's one of the few times it's been hazardous to be a 6'4" Pakistani, okay, and resemble Bin Laden, okay. And then, and like I say, it was really easy, shooting twice in the face, okay, and then kick the body out, over the side, if they did indeed do that, okay, and you just put paid, to a really nice relationship, almost 15 years of chasing this bogeyman around who didn't exist. He'd been dead. Okay, the whole period.
Right.
And then got the whole world wound up in this never-ending system of warfare. Okay, never-ending wars that never seem to stop. Like, you think we're out of Afghanistan? You think we're out of the Middle East? Okay. No, we're just beginning, okay? Mm-hmm. And we all did it because we put a bogeyman, okay, up there, and then it was really easy. Send in a team, and I always have the ultimate respect for my SEAL team members, okay? Yeah, as I said, SEAL Team 1, that's who I was assigned to years and years ago, and hey, I have ultimate respect for them, okay? And forget all the slander and attacks that I've had, from the agency over that issue. Okay, the agency. Okay, that's who slandered me on that issue. Okay, yes, they went in. They did what they were supposed to do. They're heroic. They always will be the best. They will be the best. Okay, but they shot Akbar Khan in the face. Okay, laser guided rounds. Okay, laser guided weapons. And they shot him twice in the face, and his face immediately swelled. He was dead, shattered, bones shattered everywhere. You can't identify anybody, And that was that. Took his body, put it on a Black Hawk, and they took off. Okay, and that was the last time anybody saw anything of Mr. Akbar Khan. Okay, that's his name. That name should go down in history. Okay, so as being the semi-retired employee of ISI, okay, sitting in Abbottabad, all right. So, and you haven't heard much of Bin Laden's 4 wives and children, since that happened, have you? Okay.
No, other than he was a doting husband and loving father, which, I mean, maybe he was.
Well, and a conspiracy theorist. He was reading conspiracy books and stuff, yes. Bloodlines of the Illuminati and such, don't forget. So, yeah, so look, the terrorists are reading this stuff, so beware.
Well, I think we've got about 4 minutes left.
Yeah, we've only got a couple of minutes left, so I do say that, most of the time in the past hour and 10, hour and 15, you've been listening to Frank Gregory Ford speak. And you can find Frank Gregory Ford or Greg Ford on Facebook. Both of them, actually. One of them is a public figure page, and one of them is private.
Right.
But yeah, definitely check that out.
And what's the case number? If anybody wants to
And the case number, once again, regarding this issue of torture, weapons of mass destruction, and
snatching.
Dr. Ford telling the real story about him being the only U.S. counterintelligence operative to ever be renditioned and survive from an active theater of war. That case number again?
14-15050. Ninth Circuit Court, California. All right? Yeah, and you bet. And I want everybody to start paying attention to the assaults, okay, the attacks on whistleblowers, okay? And I just told you why. It's because of the exposure they're giving to the banking interests, okay? These banking interests that are happening all around the world, and don't think that the business of terrorism and banks and wars aren't all interconnected. You bet they are. They're revenue-generating devices, all right? So, I just want your listeners to think about that. Hey, this is beginning to expand. We won't expect to see any, in the near future, any investigations into the fact that we really didn't kill Bin Laden, okay?
Right.
And this country was sold a bill of goods for 15 years. For 15 years, Okay, we've been fighting a war that really didn't exist. All right, how many thousands of Americans have died? How many thousands of Americans have died? Okay, and we should be seeing Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and Mr. George W. Bush making license plates in Leavenworth. All right, that would go a long way to redeem this country. Okay.
Well,
otherwise,
if those guys ever do, if those guys ever do a perp walk, that would indicate that the game has actually changed. But until that time, I think that's just one of those things that seems to be out of our reach because there are so many people that are being confused and just sort of controlled in one way or another by this idiocy, by these narratives, by this continuous story about fighting this imaginary idea and these propped up boogeymen that either we support or make up out of thin air.
It's just a scripted narrative.
And that's what it is,
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Yeah, no. As soon as that happens, okay. Now, understand this. If you indict one person, one of those jokers, okay, the unholy triumvirate, they'll roll over on each other, okay. They're like rats on a ship, okay. They'll turn on each other real quickly, okay. All right, they're big rodents, all right. But the thing is, you have to have somebody that's not worried about making, GS-15 from GS-14 level actually do something. These government officials do actually have to do something, okay.
Right.
They know, the FBI knows what I know, and I know, and because, I was there. But the thing is I tell your listeners everything, okay, about what happened. Your listeners know what the FBI knows. And let's face it, there's not a single one of your listeners out there that is not horrified to find out how out of control their government is. Militarized, okay, they should be aghast, okay. They should be angry and indignant, okay, that their government has led them down this path, okay, for almost 2 decades now, okay, and we have no end in sight. There is no end in sight to this.
No, right? There isn't. My bumper's going to kick on, so I didn't want it to interrupt you in the middle of talking, Dr. Ford.
Okay, excellent.
But I want to thank everybody for listening, and thank you for calling in. And I hope everybody has a good week coming up. Make it fun and productive.
Always have them call in with some questions. Have them call in with questions. Okay.
I hope so.
Okay.
Everybody have a good weekend.
You too, guys. Good night.